What are you doing? Practicing patience. I think the Hindus were onto something when they said the world is Maya, which means illusion, mostly because most things in our modern world are shiny and spark our attention just because they can. As I mentioned in another video, more people are becoming short-sighted nowadays in complete rapture over the present moment with disregard towards how their relationship spending and masturbation habits will negatively affect their future. If we sat most people down in front of a marshmallow and told them not to eat it for 10 minutes, could they do it? And yes, you cheeky buggers, I do have new whiteboard pens. And back to the marshmallow, screw them. Because today we're talking about you and how you can become otherworldly in the eyes of others by developing monk-like patience. Because in a world where everyone wants the shiny object now, you'll stand out with even the slightest hint of patience. So let's get straight to it. Firstly, it's crucial we look at the 4 things which cause impatience in the first place. Up first is lack of willpower. Apparently willpower is like a muscle that we can train over time, and willpower is a great predictor of later success and income. But a lack of willpower is likely to trip you up when you're trying to exercise patience, because the inability to have the discipline to say no to something which is shiny now in pursuit of something that is better later on is likely going to get you into one too many sticky situations. Emphasis on the word sticky. Number 2 is lack of care. Look how bright those pens are. See? When I say I'm going to deliver, I bloody deliver, like a postman with Tourette's. The more you care for something, the more patient you'll be for it. Love is patient, after all. For example, tech nerds will wait much longer for a phone which promises better qualities in the future. And it just so happens that sometimes the longer you wait for something, the greater the desire is to have that thing. Think about when you're abroad and you long for the comforts of home. The longer you're abroad, the more you crave a roast dinner, or whatever you eat in America or India or wherever you're from. So put simply, if you don't care about the thing requiring patience, there's a fly on the board, then you won't wait. Yay! Number 3 is lack of trust. How long should you wait for the bus? How long should you wait for the results that you want? People who grew up in unstable environments are less trusting of the fact that what they want will come, especially if their needs were constantly unmet when they were children. Now, if that's you, I don't really have much to say other than probably go to therapy. But in short, when we're unsure about when a result will come, we're less likely to be patient. The 4th and final cause of impatience is a desire to get this off your mind. As humans, we much prefer goal closure rather than having open goals. This is why most people, if you have a $15 debt, would rather pay $20 to pay the whole debt off right now than to wait a month in order to pay off the correct amount of $15. This is also why the motivation to complete a goal is greatest at the beginning and towards the end of completing the goal, but motivation wanes in the middle. Before we get into the 4 steps of how to build monk-like patience, it's important to note that impatience isn't always a bad thing. Always exercising patience can sometimes prevent you from enjoying the pleasures of life right now. As the saying goes, too long a sacrifice makes a stone of the heart. But most of the time we could do with more patience, so let's just get straight into the 4 ways to develop more patience. The first step in building monk-like patience is distraction. About a week ago, I had to go to a mechanic in order to get my bike fixed, and it took about an hour and a half, which felt like torture. So halfway through, I began walking up and down the corridor, counting my steps, and then I began responding to voice notes that I had received on WhatsApp. And then, suddenly, my bike was ready. So it's easy to wait if you don't know you're waiting in the first place. The second way to build monk-like patience is to make your decision in advance. If regardless of what option you choose, you have to wait anyway, you'll be more likely to wait for the longer option which requires more patience. For example, if I offered to give you $100 now or $120 in 6 months, you'd likely choose the $100 now. But if I offered to give you $100 in 6 months or $120 in 10 months, you'd probably opt for the 10-month option of $120. Why? I'm not going to get in there. This is because regardless of what option you choose, they both involve waiting. Another example is you're less likely to want to pay shipping fees if the shipping reduces the time from 10 days to 5 days rather than reducing it from 5 days to the next day. So don't tempt yourself out of the option of developing patience by giving yourself the option to choose something shiny now. If you have to choose between one of two options, a smaller sooner option or a larger later option, make sure that they both require waiting and you'll more likely choose and prioritize the larger later option. The third technique is wait to choose. As Thomas Jefferson said, when you're angry, count to 10. When you're really angry, count to 100. Here you can weigh up the opportunities and offers which come your way with a mental model which is a favourite of mine and my friend Joe's. If it's not a hell yeah, it's a no. Because anything that sparks uncertainty in you is probably a good indication that it's not worthwhile pursuing. If you're not sure whether you should say something, don't say it. If you're not sure whether you like someone, don't continue the relationship. If you're uncertain, it means no. Number 4, and probably the most important, hence I'm writing it in red, address the cause of impatience. Bloody hell. If you're being impatient because you're uncertain about your future, develop a deeper connection with your future self. Students who used virtual reality to see an image of their 70-year-old self were more likely to invest in their pension, and other students who wrote a letter to their future self were more likely to exercise. If you're being impatient because you've fallen out of love with the thing that you're doing, remind yourself of why it's important to you. Now, this might happen naturally as you wait for something, because the more effort we put into waiting for something, the more likely we are to see it as valuable. Check out sunk cost fallacy. Lastly, you can use tools here like reminders or scheduling in order to get a goal off your mind. Cancel Audible, did I do that? I don't know. And last but not least, number 5, wait for the sake of others. If we're waiting for something together, I'll be more likely to exercise patience and vice versa. Couples who set a joint savings goal are much more likely to hit their target than individuals who have no joint goal. So, where's my marshmallow? Find an accountability partner or someone who's working towards the same thing as you and let them know what you're waiting for and vice versa. Or, better yet, decide that you're both going to wait for the same thing. So, in summary, the 5 points were: distract yourself from the feeling of waiting and you won't feel like you're waiting. Number 2, make your decision in advance by making sure that all of your options involve waiting anyway. Number 3, wait to choose. If it's not a hell yeah, it's a no. Number 4, address the cause of your impatience by developing a deeper connection to your future self or reminding yourself of why the thing you're waiting for is important to you. Number 5, wait for the sake of others. Harness the power of accountability. And lastly, to run this home and before we say goodbye, here are some questions to ask yourself to develop more patience. Are you more patient in some contexts than others? Are you making short-sighted financial, medical, academic or other decisions? When you're impatient, are you mainly concerned about making short-sighted decisions or feeling agitated, even angry about having to wait? Is it both the decision and the experience that are difficult for you? Why are you impatient? There are several possible reasons. Lack of willpower, lack of trust that good things will happen if you wait, not caring enough for the delayed rewards, or maybe there's already too much on your mind. Lastly, how can you become more patient? Ooh, thank you, fellow philosopher, for your patience, your time and attention in watching this video. I hope this has been valuable for you. As always, I'll let you be the judge as to whether this was worth a like and subscribe. Hopefully it was. I'd love to hear from you in the comments, what you think about this topic, how you plan to develop more patience, and any struggles you've been dealing with along the way so far. Lastly, every Thursday, I send out a newsletter to more than 30 people of 3 minutes of philosophical or psychological wisdom that might just change your life. So feel free to join that in the description, and I will see you very soon.